Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful evening. I would like to start by asking Supervisor Rivas to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to acknowledge certificate of posting?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board reorganization, next on the agenda. And at this time, I would like to open nominations and conduct the election for Chair of the Board of Supervisors for 2016.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move to nominate Supervisor Rivas for Chair of the Board of Supervisors for 2016.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Motion to close item, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to close.
Discussion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And so at this time, Chair Rivas, I would like to trade places. Congratulations. Yes. If you want to just make a quick switch, I'll sit right here, and then we'll do a formal switch later. Thank you. You can unplug me there. And that's it. Thank you.
Do you want your chair? Is it set for you, the chair?
That chair's mine. Yeah.
You want to take it?
A little higher. You know, there's a sense of ownership here.
So I have I have a lot of additional remarks, which I will make under when we do the state of the county. So at this time, we'll move on to item B, which is open nominations and conduct election for vice chair of the Board of Supervisors. I will go ahead and take those nominations.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate Supervisor De La Cruz as vice chair of the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, there's one nomination. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions from other board members? Nope. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair. So let's go ahead and take a couple-minute recess here while we get on.
Oh, yeah.
You want your chair too?
I want my chair.
Figured it out. Yeah, no.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, so we are ready to go. I want to thank everyone for being here this evening, and we certainly don't want to take too much of your time. Moving on to item C, which is committee appointments that I created. I'm not going to go through every appointment. Certainly there's some available on the back for the public, and certainly any board member that has issues with their appointments, feel free to see me after the meeting, and if we need to make changes, we can make some changes. One important addition to the committee assignments was an advisory, a committee that I thought was necessary and important, which is a general plan implementation advisory committee, which will be myself and Supervisor Botello. So certainly we have talked about it. I'm looking forward to working with my colleague and with our staff and with the community to get people involved to see if we could get some of the ideas and concepts that we spent so much money on in our general plan to get them into action, and hopefully it'll be an involved process with some local organizations. So with that, we'll move on. Council, do we need a formal motion for the committee assignments?
No, the committee appointments are up to the chair.
Fantastic. So like I said, if any board member has any issues with the appointments, see me and we'll figure something out. Moving on to consent. It looks like we have one consent item. So we'll go ahead and take some public comment from the public if there are any some comments on the consent item.
Mr. Chairman, we did not receive any public comment cards.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the board?
No, Mr. Chair.
We have one hand there. So this is Mr. Snow. Do you have a question with this particular item? This is a special meeting, so we don't have an item for public comment for those general comments. This is specific. It has to be specific to this item on the agenda.
I'm saying that I've been on for a long time. He says he come visit me at the house years ago. I leave all kinds of beds on the phone in their heart.
Okay, I think that this is something that we could handle offline, okay? So we could talk about it after the meeting. So all those in favor with this item on consent?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second. Do I have a second? Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So now we will move straight into our board announcements, which is the remainder of the agenda. Our new vice chair. Would you like to welcome everybody?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank my colleagues for entrusting me to be their next vice chair. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Supervisor Barrios, Supervisor Botello, Supervisor Munzer, and Mr. Chair Robert Rios. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I also like to thank the public for attending today's meeting and the ceremony and the swearing in of our new chair and vice chair. I also like to thank Mayor Ignacio Velasquez for being here. Ana Caballero, Honorable Ana Caballero, thank you for coming to this meeting. Sheriff Darren Thompson, thank you for those. These are our elected officials. Joe Paul Gonzalez, thank you for being here. The auditor. Also like to thank Tom, our assessor, our county assessor. Thank you. Without you, we'll be kind of jeopardizing our money. You and Joe Paul, thank you very much. Oh yes, and our district attorney Candace, thank you for being here. We do appreciate your presence. And former Supervisor Pat Lowe, thank you. Thank you for your all your experience and contributions that we have gathered over the years, and some of your ideas, we're still using them today. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. I really like to now announce our new chairperson Carl, thank you for being here from the City Hall. So we do appreciate your presence and hope this is a relationship that the city and the county will be working in the future for community projects that can benefit the entire community, just not the city or just not the county, but more of a community encompass benefit to the community. Thank you, Carlos, for being here. And now I'd like to introduce our chair for 2016, our chair, Honorable Chairperson Robert Rivas. Thank you.
Thank you. Round of applause. You don't have to applaud. I have quite a few remarks, so you'll probably want to run out of here after. Won't be applauding. Well, I certainly want to welcome everyone that is here and thank you for being here this evening. Certainly, we're facing some stiff competition as President Obama is giving State of the Union. Terrible timing on our part. Usually, in my opinion, I thought the State of the Union was at the end of the month, but oh well. I certainly want to thank our county staff, all of our appointed department heads, our elected department heads who took the time to join us, even though whether it was mandatory or not. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate your presence here, obviously. You guys lead our county and our staff. So not only me, but this entire board is appreciative of everything you guys do. I also would like to acknowledge the many appointed volunteers in our community. I want to thank all the other elected officials, our mayor, Councilmember Clower, a good friend of mine, and my point person when it comes to housing. We certainly want to, I want to thank you guys for being here. Everything you guys do, the time you put in, you get paid nothing. So it's all volunteer, and so it's something that, the work you do, you guys help make Hollister and this community much stronger. And the service you provide to our residents should never go unnoticed. So thank you so much. I certainly want to thank a lot of people. The first person I'd like to recognize, and if you can please stand for a brief moment so you can be recognized, is Supervisor Pat Lowe. Pat's here tonight. And the reason I want to recognize Pat Lowe is because she has dedicated so much of her life to public service and to making San Benito County a better place for everybody. Since 2012, it has been an honor to have her serve on the San Benito County Planning Commission. Her work ethic, her energy, and love for this county are absolutely unmatched. And I could spend the entire evening talking about all the good work Pat does, not only on the Planning Commission, but on a volunteer basis. So, Pat, thank you for everything you do. Now, the next person I want to thank and welcome, and we're very fortunate to have this special guest here in the audience. She really needs no introduction because many of us already know her personally. She's worked right here in San Benito County for nearly 25 years. She's represented us in the State Assembly, and she's worked to ensure that San Benito County has always had a voice in Sacramento. Most recently, she served as California's Secretary of Business, Consumer Services, and Housing. And in that capacity, she spent the past 5 years working with our governor, Jerry Brown, to get California back on the right track. And I can tell you, I think she's done a heck of a job. I think this governor's done a heck of a job. She's been a lifelong champion for affordable housing and quality public education. And I am very honored to welcome one of my personal mentors and also my former boss, the highest-ranking Latina in California state government, the Honorable Ana Caballero. Thank you for being here. I'd also like to thank Ray Espinoza, Ray for his guidance and leadership. He has set the bar high for all staff, and he's done a fine job as our county administrative officer. So from the bottom of my heart, Ray, thank you. Thank you for working hard to get this county back on the right track and working with all of our department heads. So thank you. So finally, this is a special one for me on a personal level. Is I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of our colleagues who's dedicated her career to public service. It is a career that will come to an end at the conclusion of this calendar year, and it's going to come to an end by her decision not to run for re-election. Now, Margie has spent what has seemed like a lifetime working in San Benito County to make this a better county, a better city for everybody here. She's a straight shooter, she's honest, and she's someone who I admire and respect, probably because she's the one, no offense she challenges me the most. And so I'm proud to call her a friend. So, Supervisor, thank you so much for your service.
And an honor.
And San Benito County is absolutely grateful for your service and your commitment to this community. And I look forward to serving this final year with you and continuing your great work after you leave at the end of this year, unless you've changed your mind.
I haven't changed my mind.
So I invite everyone. We also have a plaque, but I want to invite everyone in helping me applaud Margie's legacy of public service in San Benito County.
Thank you so much.
So this is actually the first time that we've held a special meeting to highlight the state of the county here in San Benito. And I hope that we continue to build on this tradition in the future. You may be wondering what this meeting is all about. And while our gathering here tonight serves two purposes. The first is to summarize the current health and direction of our local government. And the second is to outline a plan and vision for San Benito County. A plan and vision for the next 12 months and hopefully beyond. Now, this is a new idea for our county to outline bold new initiatives at the start of every calendar year and debate and fine-tune these ideas over the course of that year. I believe for the most part that our county has gotten the fundamentals right. Our county budgeting, our staffing, our planning, growth, public safety, transportation. But we have lacked a short and long-term innovative vision for our county. We need, in many ways, to go beyond the status quo, to go beyond the fundamentals, and push harder to get this county to the next level. So this evening, I hope to outline a few new ideas for our county to consider, for our board to consider. Some of these ideas may come to fruition, others may not. But the purpose of presenting these ideas tonight is to begin a discussion between your county supervisors, your board, and local residents. And we need to start somewhere. And in my opinion, we're not just here to say yes or no to development projects. We're not here just to say yes or no to county budget items or to simply rubber stamp an annual budget. We need to think bigger, and we need to think much bolder. We have to continue to provide a high level of service to our county residents, while at the same time creating new opportunities and programming to move our county into the future. Now, this county or city may be known as the birthplace of the American biker. But I want San Benito County to be known as a trendsetter, a place where counties look for direction and for ideas. And we can only become a trendsetter and a place of innovation if we lead the way. The old ways of running this county just aren't going to cut it, and we have to really think about how we do business here in San Benito County. And so before I outline my vision for the next 12 months, let me begin by recognizing the fact that the current state of San Benito County is strong. Perhaps the strongest it has been since before 2008. We can all recall what happened in 2008. We had the Great Recession, and we are now emerging from this Great Recession. Now, what was the result of that Great Recession? Our county faced a multi-year budget deficit. And during those tough economic times, I can recall when I was elected in 2010, the first thing we had to do in 2011 was make drastic cuts. Our county reserves were decreased, our general fund reserves were decreased by more than 71%. Our property tax revenues fell more than 21%. That lost revenue proved catastrophic for San Benito County. And our county lost over 100 full-time positions. It was a difficult job that we had to do. And in order to survive, substantial measures were taken to ensure that we could balance the budget but still provide a high level of service to local residents despite these tough despite our tough reductions that we had to make. So our county employees sacrificed a great deal from the top to the bottom. The long-term viability of, and our department heads, our staff, our line staff, they sacrificed a great deal to ensure the long-term viability of this county. And this board is grateful for their sacrifices. And I'm happy to report to you that because of our prudent planning and our fiscal restraint, our county is certainly back on the right track. We've consistently balanced our budget year to year. And despite our decreased staffing levels, we've made sure that our streets are safe and have begun the work to ensure that our public safety departments are adequately staffed and funded. We certainly have a long way to go, but this board is committed to making sure that our public safety is fully funded. We clearly have begun to bounce back from this recession, and there is no question that the state of our county is strong, and we have the potential to improve and to get even stronger as a local government. And I'd like to take this moment and recognize the hard work of our county staff, many of whom are here today, as we've noted. Thank you for your service and your continued effort to make this county the best place it can possibly be for our residents. So thank you. But moving forward, we should not forget what the Great Recession taught all of us. It taught us that the economy is often very unpredictable, and we should always be prepared for another downturn. We must continue our careful our county budgeting over the next few years to ensure that we will survive another downturn in the economy should that occur. We can't rush to expand our local services when times are good without knowing for certain that revenues will remain consistent into the future. I'm confident we will continue to get these fundamentals right, but we must also look to the future. We must consider new ideas to strengthen this community and our county. As the board chair over the next year, I'll be working with my fellow supervisors to set this agenda, and I plan to focus my tenure on 3 key areas that I think will help move this county forward and make us an example for similar counties throughout this state. First, I believe this board must discuss the issue of transparency in local government. San Benito County is lagging, in my opinion, far behind other California cities and counties in the area of transparency. And I believe we must quickly take action to ensure that we protect local government from the threat of overzealous lobbyists. As our county has grown, we've seen outside special interests come into our county and try to influence the decision-making process. Now, don't get me wrong. Lobbyists often do very important work. I think it is critically important to hear every point of view and gather all the facts before making a decision. That's certainly something I've been, support and committed to. And I admire people who advocate for what they believe in, as long as they are being honest and direct with elected officials and staff. The problem is some of the special interests who have moved into our community do not act in good faith and are not always honest with us as elected officials or with local residents. The problem is some of the special interests, so, as I just said, that they're not always honest with us. Their only interest seems to be making money off our beautiful community without any regard to the sometimes severe consequences of their actions. That's why we need to shine a bright light on county government and our local politics, so that our residents can see in plain sight the inner workings of government, of campaigns, and overall local decision-making. Let us ensure that the problems that we've seen happen in other parts of the state never, ever happen here in San Benito County. In this spirit, I propose to this board that we discuss and adopt a new sunshine ordinance, an ordinance that would require all individuals who are seeking to lobby the board or local staff to register with our county clerk and to undergo annual ethics training. And we must finally, we have to discuss local campaign finance laws. On top of that, San Benito County currently doesn't have limits on campaign contributions for local elections. Outside groups can come to San Benito and create tens of thousands of dollars and contribute tens of thousands of dollars directly to any local candidate. And this actually happened recently. In 2014, tobacco companies they contributed a significant amount of money to influence a local supervisor race. And in my opinion, that is absolutely wrong. We must place some sort of limits and pass sensible campaign finance laws to protect the voices of local residents. This makes sense, and we should act on it. It's nothing new. These are laws that are in place in many other local jurisdictions throughout this state. And it's laws like this that without question, will make our county much stronger. Second, I'd like to propose that we make it a top priority to build a new county library and community center. We should build a place of learning and discussion that will be a model for the rest of the state. A place where our entire community can come to experience the beauty of learning. This should not just be a library with bookshelves, but an interactive place where people will gather to share ideas, to read and borrow books, to reserve conference rooms, to attend classes, to use a computer, to browse the internet. A place where one can experience a sense of community It should be a beautiful building that will be the epicenter of our county. I'm glad that some of the nicest the buildings to our local governments in this county are our courthouse across the street, our police station, our fire stations. But shouldn't our schools and libraries be just as nice? So I ask my fellow board members to press ahead this year and finally find a solution to this. Let us do all that we can to build a structure that will be the hub of this county for years to come. Let us collaborate with our local schools, our high school district, with other elected representatives from the city of Hollister, like our mayor, Councilmember Clower, the city of San Juan Bautista. But most importantly, let's partner with our local businesses to make this a reality. If we must generate new revenue for this, then let's consider how we get that done. I know this board has talked about a sales tax increase. Our county board has not asked local residents for a sales tax increase in over a decade. We should look into this and do so quickly. I know our staff has. They've worked hard on this. We must make this happen. We cannot simply brush this aside and say it can't be done, because in my opinion, it can be done. It will be done, but that work has got to begin now. We can't do it ourselves. We've got to work with partners, and it's about establishing these partnerships with other jurisdictions within our county. Lastly, I'd like to turn to what makes San Diego County great. I know we've all said it at one time or another, but that certainly is our rich agricultural heritage. Agriculture has long been the engine of our local economy. It is deeply embedded in the fabric of our community, and it defines who we are. We should continue to embrace this identity and do all we can to market ourselves as an agricultural hub, not only of California, but of the United States. Local residents certainly agree with this. In 2014, San Diego County passed the Anti-Fracking Initiative Measure J. In an off-year election, with the lowest statewide turnout in recent memory, San Diego County had a 58% voter turnout, with 59% of the people voting yes to support the initiative. In fact, every supervisor's district in this county had a majority in favor of the measure. The oil industry spent over $2 million to defeat this measure, but the people rejected the barrage of TV and radio commercials, the likes of which this county has never seen and probably will never see again. Instead, people across San Diego chose a brighter future that sought to protect and enhance our real assets: our county's natural beauty, our vibrant agriculture, and our historic and livable communities. It is that future that we need to help realize. San Diego County became known across California and across this nation as a place where the people determine their future, not the oil industry. Regardless of what big oil says, we do have a brighter future here in San Benito County. We have rich agricultural resources with the highest percentage of organic agriculture of any county here in California. We have some of the finest wineries in California, and in my opinion, in this country. We need to protect these assets and use them to help make San Benito County a tourism destination. When combined with the draw from the Pinnacles National Park, our state parks, and our proximity to the Silicon Valley, we should be targeting the folks who may be tiring of the traffic jams heading south on 101 each weekend. We should encourage them to instead turn east to our greener pastures. That would be good for their. It wouldn't only be good for their personal health and well-being, but it would certainly be a boost for our local economy. So I hope this year we can work very closely with the Chamber of Commerce and with the EDC to help realize these goals of improving our tourism. And in that spirit, I propose that we do what we can to make San Benito County a green county. We've certainly talked about it many times, but we've got to do something about it. We need to begin to transform our local infrastructure to produce our own green energy. Places like Yolo County up north are already producing 150% of their county's energy needs from renewable sources. Investing in increasing our county's renewables will provide this community with a clean, sustainable energy future. And it certainly will help us as a board to save money in the long run and it'll help us save money and use that money for other important vital county needs. And certainly we cannot talk about local agricultural heritage without addressing future development. And we need to make sure that the assets of our county are not destroyed by ill-conceived suburban sprawl. Let us continue to build smart, compact neighborhoods that embrace our agricultural heritage instead of detracting from it. Let us stop building the same old tract homes and begin to build smart, livable, walkable communities. Let us redouble our efforts to plant more trees in this county. Trees cool down neighborhoods. They provide shade. They make walking and bicycling more enjoyable. The vast majority of the most healthy and vibrant places to live in the world also have this designation of tree cities. Let's do the same right here in San Benito County so that our children can enjoy a more beautiful city. And let us not forget that affordable housing should always be a part of any development. We cannot lose sight of the fact that we need affordable housing in San Benito County. And finally, I promise I'm almost done. And finally, in the spirit of protecting our rich, vibrant, and diverse local history, let us not forget the struggles of previous generations to make this community a more fair, just, and decent place to live. San Benito County, in many ways, was at the epicenter of the farm workers' civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s. Right here in San Benito, thousands of farm workers worked night and day and risked everything to win basic rights, even when the odds were stacked against them. We ought to remember the struggles of these trailblazers and dreamers who dared to believe against all odds that they could fight for a better future for their children and for their families. These freedom fighters, and my grandfather was one of them, are leaving us every day because of old age and illness. We owe it to them to pay tribute to their great struggle and to have a day of remembrance in honor of their accomplishments. These people fought. They fought right here, just miles down the road from this building, to secure equal rights. It is one of the great civil rights triumphs of our time. San Benito County farm workers led strikes and boycotts to secure equal rights for themselves and for their families. Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, they visited this county countless times to join the struggle for equality. In the end, farm workers and farmers came together and signed some of the first farm labor agreements in the United States right here in San Benito County. History was certainly made, and we helped set the example back then. These agreements granted equity to our farm workers and continue to make our food supply safer from the most dangerous pesticides. I mention this because I believe it is time that we recognize this history as a board. We should honor the work of farmers and farm workers, and in the coming weeks, our board should consider granting county workers a paid holiday in honor of Cesar Chavez's birthday. Our board should work with our staff and engage our county bargaining unit representatives to discuss a way to make this happen, because it certainly needs to happen. This will be a day where county workers can try to give back to the community through volunteerism, if they choose. This is not about rehashing the debates of the past. This is about recognizing an important part of this county's history. This is our history, and we should honor it. Neighboring counties already give their workers the day off and encourage their workers to volunteer at local schools or pursue a local community project. San Benito should do the same. I hope this board will work with our county staff and give this idea careful consideration in the coming weeks. This is our shared history. It is what makes this community great. I'm looking forward to 2016. Certainly, the remarks I've made is just a start. But we have to start somewhere. There's always more work to be done, and there's always more problems to solve. And I look forward to working with all my colleagues to solve these problems. From public safety to safe streets, to increased traffic congestion to pesticide use around our schools. There are more issues that we will tackle this year. I'm sure of it. So let's be aggressive and do all that we can to move forward a new agenda in San Diego County, one that is more innovative, fair, and transparent. I'm truly excited to be board chair this year. We're going to have some great debates, and we're going to work hard. We're going to attack our jobs with such enthusiasm that I think you'll all be very surprised. And like all of you, I love this county and believe that our best days are still very much ahead of us. So thank you all for being here. Not only I know this board is very appreciative of everything you guys do, and we thank you for being here. Look forward to it. We'll adjourn the meeting now, but I know that I'm supposed to make a comment about our next meeting in a couple weeks, closed session. We're making, certainly, I'm a big advocate for making our meetings more efficient in the future. And so one change we are making is our closed sessions will be in the morning now. Mm-hmm. And so we will open the meeting at 9, and the general meeting will begin at 10, I believe.
Yep,
so if you show up before 10, we will not be here. We will be in closed session. Yep. So those of you that are usually here at 9, please be here at 10. That's when the meeting will begin. So with that, thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second, Mr. Chair.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're adjourned. And do we have refreshments?
There are refreshments in the foyer area, so feel free. Enjoy yourselves, and thanks for attending.